Here we are. Movie Smell Podcast, episode 5. The long-awaited episode 5. Everybody's been just begging for an episode 5, so here it is. We're going to just wait for Matt to call in. Here he is. My dog's going to bark like a jerk. And what's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Oh, nice. Got done everything a little earlier than anticipated.
No, that's awesome. It didn't matter to me. I'm up anyway.
Start instead of wait. Oh, wait. I forgot that I can't use Wi-Fi.
Uh-oh.
Wi-Fi. I can't. My Wi-Fi.
Oh, right.
Shit, so.
Yeah, I know. You froze for a second. I thought I lost you. I was like, oh, no.
I'm just using my data.
Dude.
Great.
What an episode, eh?
It's a great episode. It was a really
Man,
good episode.
I'm so pumped to talk to you about this because, like, wow.
I just watched it again. My usual second viewing.
Yeah, well, I definitely probably will watch this one again just because of how good it was, but yeah, I'll wait to dive into spoilers or anything, but
How do you not dive into spoilers at this point?
it was easily the best episode of anything I've watched this year, like, or last year probably. Like, it got me more excited than that huge reveal at the end of Mandalorian 2.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing about this one is like it's really tying back to the MCU, so it's like it's doing a good job at like getting me excited for like what's to come. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly, man. Like, it sets up so many possibilities that obviously we'll dive into where we think it's going and everything. But
yeah. It's definitely been the best episode of this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, at the end of the episode, I literally was like screaming, "Oh fuck!" in my house for like 5 minutes after the episode because I was like, "Holy!" I mean, we've talked about what they could do with this, and we hypothesized that this could be an outcome, but to actually see it happen and actually think like, "Oh wow, they are actually doing it."
You're talking about the end, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think. So, like, I don't know. Should we just, like, get into it? Because I feel like at this point, like...
Let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. So, I think that as exciting as that... So, at the end of the show, when she opens the door and it's Pietro, and it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson or whatever his name is, but it's Evan Peters. Evan Peters. And so it's like... That's really cool, but like it makes me also wonder, like, you know, that could just be totally random, right? Like,
sure,
you know what I mean? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, I think it could kind of go two ways, but I think, you know, I ultimately think that Kevin Feige could keep the Fox X-Men alive,
yeah,
and like just pick at it when the time is right, Like, to just kind of wipe them away would kind of be silly at this point because they have such a cult following, you know?
Well, there's two aspects to that, right? Depending on how you look at it, right? Is this her manifestation of pulling a character from a different multiverse? Or is this somebody else manipulating the situation?
Yeah.
Because when he was presented, she looked just as confused as he did.
Right.
So, and then they commented, like, Darcy in the real world was like commenting, she goes, "Oh, she recasted her brother." Yeah. And so it could be from a different multiverse. It could just be her manifesting whatever she needs in that moment. It could be an outside villain. Like, everybody assumes that Mephisto has some kind of power in this world. Well, did she make a deal with the devil and he's manipulating her into, do what he wants her to do?
Right.
And so she sold her soul or something to get Vision back, and now he's toying with her in this little hexagonal world.
Right. Yeah. That's a good theory for sure.
And like, not just that, but the ramifications of, okay, well, now we're saying if he's real, that all the X-Men movies are canon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to a certain degree, right? Because I remember Kevin Feige saying at one point, like, about the multiverse, that like you can have multiple different people. Like, if Spider-Man's not the same in every multiverse, so like you can have different actors playing the same characters and whatever.
Right.
But like, I think the thing that I question is like, if he's in the show, is he playing a character? Like, does he have a real identity too? I guess is like kind of where I'm going. Like, if he's in that town, is it possible that he's like somebody else, that he's not that person? You know what I mean? He's not Pietro. He's like Joe Smith, who's under the.
Well, people are saying that it could be actually Mephisto that is that person.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be very cool.
And that he just changed his image into what he thought of as Quicksilver, but it's not her version of Quicksilver.
He's like, oh shit, wrong universe.
Wrong universe, yeah. I mean, to me, this perfectly sets up Magneto coming in next week.
It's funny because when they go through Wanda's background on episode 5, I found it weird that when they say like her parents' name, I thought that would have been I felt like that would have been a good place to drop that. It could have been the connection, right?
Right, but again, maybe not in her universe that he's hit her parents.
Maybe. What makes you think Magneto's coming in? Just because Quicksilver was there?
What's that? Sorry?
What made you think that Magneto's coming?
Yeah, just Quicksilver being there, but I just thought, okay, well, if they're going to introduce him, they might as well have a whole family reunion.
Maybe.
So, like, her version of her dad may have been the same, like, appearance and look.
Yes, but a different story, right?
Different story.
Right.
So he had a different name maybe in her universe, but in the multiverse where this Quicksilver's from, he was Magneto.
Yeah. Like, to me, there's no way that they didn't think, like, there has to be some plan around that, because as soon as I saw that mother and father's names or whatever, and it wasn't any of Magneto's aliases, I was like, why would they put that in there? Like, they would know that most people would catch that. You know what I mean? So it's like that they're trying to throw something off a scent there.
No, for sure.
Like,
and
anybody who knows these characters would know that there's a connection there.
Yeah. But like I said, like, they could go any direction with it now, where they can take whatever they like out of the Fox universe and keep what they want, and then throw the rest and say, well, this isn't going to carry over into this universe, but this is, and that is, and this is. But you know what I mean? So the best part of that universe, like the best part of the last 3 movies, not counting New Mutants, was Quicksilver.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I will say, like, he got his second, like, by the time he kept doing the same bit, it kind of got boring. But like, I remember not too long ago, I kind of put X-Men. What was the one that he was first in? Days of Future Past. I was watching Days of Future Past, and that scene came on, and like, I was working on a figure, and then like I kind of looked over and I kind of saw it, and I was like, I actually rewinded it to the beginning and started it again and watched it, because it's like, it's awesome. It's probably one of the best scenes in any of the X-Men movies.
I just watched it today because I was so stoked after the episode. I watched that part in Days of Future Past, and then I watched that part in Apocalypse. And you're right, like the Days of Future Past version of him is way cooler than, it's just basically the same thing in Apocalypse.
Way cooler, yeah.
But I mean, those like Apocalypse was an abysmal movie.
Yeah, it's not great. I don't love it.
It's really bad. So I'll take like so good in that movie.
Me too. It's the only time. It's probably one of the only things that have come out of the Fox X-Men movies that I was like, that's really good.
Well, that Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine's good too. Yeah, Can't really
Like,
deny that.
This what also leads me to is like, I mean, Hugh Jackman way back, like right when Disney started buying Fox.
I remember when he said that he would come back, right? If the MCU ever, if
he could be in the MCU. And this leads me to, could we get Wolverine in like Doctor Strange or something like that? Like,
could you imagine?
Dude, it'd blow my mind. Like,
awesome.
And that's what I mean is like, and they also like Logan, I think is the best X-Men movie there's, period. Like, I think out of all of them. And like they talked about wanting to do the X-23 movie after Logan had come out.
Yep, I remember that.
This could totally lead to an X-23 movie, and they're like, yeah, like Logan's part of the universe, it counts. And this is how we carry on Wolverine. Is we're not going to recast Wolverine. We're gonna do X-23. Like,
that would be sweet. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be against it. She was great. I don't know if she could be like I mean, it's hard to say because I guess her character didn't really allow her to be like, like really like a main, like a lead, I guess, you know what I mean? Because she was like so quiet and whatever, but like, I don't know if her character, I'd never seen her act in anything other than Logan. So I don't really know, but
I don't know. I'd have to look up her like,
yeah. But I liked her, but I just feel like they're going to want Wolverine to be front and center because of the history with Wolverine. Like, I feel like Wolverine's still going to be at the front of the X-Men, even though...
Well, I hope that they do bring Wolverine in, but my point is to recast Wolverine is going to be a chore. Like, Hugh Jackman played that role almost perfectly.
I mean, the thing is Hugh Jackman's biggest issue with playing Wolverine was getting fit, right? And like, they could do so much now that he doesn't have to do that anymore. Like, you don't... I know you have to be in somewhat good shape, but like he already is in good shape. Like, he takes care of himself, right? Like, obviously, like if you look at him, you can see that.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, they brought back characters and DH them in all these movies and like all this stuff. Like, the trickery you can pull now is...
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I just think this opens up so many possibilities. Like, I was talking to my buddy today and he's like, he watched it and he's like, oh, who cares? Like, the Fox universe sucks. This doesn't do anything for me. And I'm like, you're not wrong, but now they can take any good elements out of that and keep it.
And drop them in.
Right. And then people who do like those movies, that may not be us necessarily, could say like, hey, I really liked X2 and that's how I got into this comic book fandom was I loved X2 and now that isn't just wiped from the universe. Like, people can still enjoy that movie and say, oh, it's still canon, it's still part of the universe, it's just in a different Earth or whatever.
I think that's the best part about it is that it's like, I like the idea that they can just leave it and they can go and toy in that universe when they want to, or if they get the urge. Because like I was saying, I went and saw my buddy's like little studio. He's starting a YouTube channel kind of right now too. I went there tonight and we were kind of chatting about it. And like I was saying that like, they could wait like 10 years and then go back and revisit that universe from any one of the jumping points from any of the movies. And those cult favorites will be so into it, right? Like, they could make a shit ton. And then by that point, they'd probably have their own X-Men already. So imagine them having 2 X-Men franchises that they can make money off of. Like, the potential is huge, right? Like,
with the time travel aspect, anything's possible, right? Like,
with the multiverse.
Well, multiverse and time travel, right? Yeah. It's like right now, like WandaVision set in the 90s, right? So like the next episode will be in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you could bring in Michael Fassbender as Magneto and it would make sense.
That's a really good point.
Like, you don't need Ian McKellen come back. Like, Ian McKellen's a, 85, 90-year-old actor now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense for him to be back. And like we talked about last week, Patrick Stewart turning down possibly being in Doctor Strange. Well, yeah, it makes sense. Logan was a good end for Xavier, and
I agree.
He's an 85, 90-year-old man. Like, he can't do what he could 20 years ago in these X-Men movies. So,
well, the problem is like I said when I talk with other people about this, it's like it would be stupid of them to cast like Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart as Xavier and Magneto, even if they have a great following and they are great in those roles, because they are. But if you want this to have any longevity, like, you couldn't pick a 90-year-old actor. Like, X-Men's going to play out over 15 years, 20 years. Like, you can't kill off Xavier in the second episode, right? Like, you can't do that.
Sure. But bring in Michael Fassbender, who I think is an awesome actor, and he's a young guy. He's not whatever our age or a little older.
Yeah. I know. Right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he's perfect.
I mean, I personally was a big fan of him, so if he was gonna play Magneto again, I wouldn't be against it.
And same with James McAvoy, right? Like, he was
as long as they change the character, though, I really would like them to change the character. Like, I thought they played those roles well, but I would like them to like basically I would hate for them to like use everything we already have with them. Like, it'd be nice for them to kind of reintroduce them into the universe with kind of maybe just a more less grounded story.
Right. Well, I think like in regards to like Storm and Cyclops and stuff like that, like you have to recast those roles. They were done poorly originally. Like Halle Berry as Storm, I don't think ever made sense really.
No.
You could totally like. Obviously, I think the implications of her being of Wakandian descent or whatever fit perfectly for Storm, and like she could be part of Black Panther too, and that would make perfect sense.
Yep.
Like bringing in a new Cyclops, bringing in Gambit finally, which I've wanted for 20 years. You can recast these roles and redo them, and then eventually bring in like Phoenix and like all that kind of stuff. And redo those stories that they messed up so badly in the Fox universe and actually do them well and just give it space. Like you can do, all that stuff. Days of Future Past could be redone in 10 years and done well. Just give it space.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would if I had it my way, I probably would stay away from everything we've already seen, especially Phoenix. I love the Phoenix story, but like at this point, I feel like it would be a bad idea to.
Well, that's why I said 10 years. Like,
yeah. And like four or five movies down the line, if they want to do it, then I'm not against it. But I think they should steer clear as long as they can, because I feel like there's a lot of negativity around it now. Like it's.
Yeah, well, they've messed it up twice, so.
But I mean, I guess we'll see how that works with Fantastic Four, because that's another really good example of. Right. It's like just been fail after fail after fail after fail.
Sure, so, but like I said to my buddy today, is like. The whole Chris Evans thing possibly coming back as the Human Torch.
That would be amazing.
And that's what I said. And he goes, well, those Fantastic Four movies were terrible. And I said, yeah, but you've got to understand, there is a following for these movies.
Yep.
So all of a sudden you bring in the cameo of somebody you expect to be Captain America, and then all of a sudden he's not Captain America. It
plays on two beats. Like it's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
And then,
honestly, I don't even like those Fantastic Four movies. I fucking hate them. But if they brought the fact that they could even do that makes me giddy. Like,
right. And then on top of that, you could bring in Doctor Doom into the MCU.
Yeah. Apparently that there's going to be like a Latveria, mentioning of his like world, like his country or whatever in Bucky, Winter Soldier and Falcon show or whatever. Apparently,
we mess that name up every week.
I know.
So it's like an ongoing joke now that we cannot remember the name of it.
It's called. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, like I think
Salmon Buck.
I think this could be a perfect way to bring in Doctor Doom too. It's like, how poetic is it that Doctor Strange goes into a different multiverse and then unleashes Doctor Doom into our multiverse or our universe? You know what I mean? Like,
it'd be great.
It just has a simple. It's poetic in that way where it's like, I think it makes too much sense not to do, and then you build into the Fantastic Four in the next phase, and then you can build into an X-Men movie, and this is all just chess pieces moving on the board to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess we'll see in a bit. But there's something I think we skimmed over a lot. We barely even talked about WandaVision to start. We just kind of jumped into everything.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the whole episode was when she came out of Westview with the drone.
Yeah.
Man, didn't that feel like such a sweet heel turn? Like, didn't that
not just sweet, like just her look. She looked evil as hell. Her eyes.
I love when she turned all of the guns against. And I was like, as soon as she did that, you know what the first thing I thought of?
Magneto?
Yeah. It's so crazy.
it just looked exactly like what Magneto did in that one of those first two X-Men movies there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, like they're gonna do it, and then obviously they didn't. But I think it just makes too much sense not to have Magneto in this show, man.
I hope you're right, because I would be so happy to get a mutant finally.
Like we're in episode 5, so we still have 4 more episodes. You know what a cliffhanger if in episode 8 or 9 they end with Magneto coming in, and then that sets up Doctor Strange somehow. Like, I'm in.
Yeah, I wonder when Doctor Strange is going to show up in all this. Think it'll be the last issue or last episode?
It could be. I mean, that could be it. Is that Doctor Strange has to come in to fix all the time problems that Wanda's creating.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's messing up with stuff. And my buddy said this too, is like with Vision, like he has a stone in his head. So where did she get this extra stone? Is it because she's just remembering him of how he looked?
Yeah, I kind of assumed that, especially when she saw him without the stone in his head too.
Or did she take the stone from another multiverse?
But I mean, at this point, do we have any reason to believe that she's surfing the multiverse?
Well, we have Quicksilver.
But yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, there's so many possibilities, and that's what I mean. Is they've set this up perfectly, where me and you could talk about this for the next hour and a half and ramble off 100 different ideas and where they could go, and that's the cool part of this like universe.
Yeah, that's true. Anything could be a possibility.
Yeah. But did you notice that fake commercial too? The Legos paper towel.
What did I miss? I was trying to figure out what that was representing.
That's where Wanda threw crossbones into that building, exploding that building, and killing all those people.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah. So, and the tagline for the paper towel was, "When you make a mess, you didn't need to."
That's so crazy, man. That's crazy. I didn't notice that. I mean, I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? And I'm like, maybe it's like a character or something. Like,
yeah, it's from the beginning of Civil War.
That's right. Oh man, that's crazy. That's so good.
Yeah, man. So like, there's so many little.
Go ahead. No,
there's so many little Easter eggs hidden in each episode. Like, I love it. Yeah. Like, I just love looking for all the random little things. But the other thing I was going to say, and then you can bring in your point too, is what if this is the Skrulls too? Like, there's always that possibility too, where the Skrulls can be anybody, so they could be Quicksilver. They could
that's true.
It's a very easy out for them to go, oh, we deked you to the left with Quicksilver, but it's actually not Quicksilver.
Right. And
you know.
That's totally a possibility for sure. Like you said, at this point, they could go a million different ways. Yeah. I want to bring up something that I thought was interesting was when Darcy and Wu and Rambo were talking about the last battle in Endgame.
Yeah.
And did you notice how Monica reacted when they brought up Captain Marvel?
Right, she was like annoyed or something about it. Like,
yeah, she was just, it's like she didn't want to even talk about it or hear about it. I thought that was really interesting because like she's the only one in the MCU that really has a relationship with her outside of Fury that we know of, right? Like,
right.
So it makes me wonder what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, I hope that they show like in a flashback or something what exactly happened between them because it seems like they're like had a huge falling out, and that's
I wonder if the reason why her mom got sick has something to do with Carol, like
like space radiation or something like that,
or I don't know, something like that.
Gave her cancer because of all the radiation she's putting out, or I don't know.
Yep,
it could be.
Be cool. It would be cool, but I think.
Well,
it's cool to get radiation cancer.
And that brings in our next sponsor for Moose. Yeah. So what do you think about with the kids too? Because the kids aging thing was weird.
It was weird. It was also weird that they killed the dog.
I thought that was terrible, and the whole time I was just sitting there with my dog and going, "Oh no, this is not good. I don't like this at all."
Kate has a thing against like watching movies where dogs die. She'll like, I can think of times where she's looked it up and we've stopped watching a movie in the middle because she's like, if that dog dies, I'm out. So we're like, we're watching it, and then like right after the late neighbor comes into the doghouse, she looks at me and she's like, "Oh no, it was when the doorbell rings." She looks at me and she's like, "That dog's not going to die, is it?" And I was just like, I'm like, it's not the same. It's not what you would expect. Like, it's not
the
like
supportive husband.
It's not like someone picks it up and is like,
yeah. No, I mean, thank God that didn't happen. But I definitely don't understand why they bothered introducing the dog in the first point, other than to drive home the fact that like Wanda's depressed with her loss, and now she's teaching her kids about loss. But like, it seems like she could have taught that without killing a dog in the episode.
I thought it maybe had more to do with the fact that, to kind of try to drive home the fact that she was like, I can't use my powers for this, but then at the end, Pedro shows up, so it's like maybe it has something to do with, like you said, where like somebody else is kind of pulling the strings there, right? Like,
yeah. But
I mean, I guess in a true, like, I guess if you look at it like a sitcom from the old days, that's like something that would happen, is they would say, that's not really how this works. And then all of a sudden that's what happens, right? And it's like,
yeah. Well, we still got to the beginning of the episode with her neighbor Agnes there, where she's asking to hold the babies, and then like Vision kind of shoots her down because whatever, or whatever. And then Agnes goes, "Oh, should I take that line again?" And
I noticed that in a lot of this episode. Like, I noticed a lot of like referencing that she's in control.
Right.
Like, there was one point where, like, I think like the mailman said, like, they're looking for the dog or something, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, you couldn't have gotten too far. Your mom wouldn't let that happen."
Right.
And then there was another one. What was the other reference? There was another one. It was like, Agnes. I think it was like when the kids grow or something, and she's sitting on the counter and she says like, "Oh, kids, you think you can control them," or something like that.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay.
There's that.
No matter how hard you try, or
the day when it was like the kids are like, "Oh, it's Saturday," and she's like, "No, it's not. It's Tuesday," or whatever the hell it was. And she's just like changing days on a whim to what like she desires or whatever. It's like clearly she's in control in certain aspects and not in control in other aspects. But
it seems that way.
Like the kid, she didn't have control over the kids. She couldn't make them stop crying. They were aging whatever they chose to.
Yeah.
Like, and so I read this online, and I don't know enough about it to speak eloquently about it. But I guess in the comics, the children are like pieces of Mephisto or something like that.
Yeah.
And so people are hypothesizing that like she sold her soul to the devil, basically, or Mephisto, to bring Vision back. But in exchange, he got to like basically raise his spawn through her.
Interesting.
I mean, I can't speak enough about it because I don't know the comics.
I know Mephisto as a character, but I don't really like. I know him from like like trading cards when I was a kid. Like, I didn't read the books with him and stuff, right? But I know some of the important stuff. So like, I know like in the comic books in Civil War, Peter Parker reveals that he's Spider-Man publicly to side with Stark, and then to undo that in the comics, he makes a deal with Mephisto. He kind of sells his soul to undo his identity, because it was like, I think Aunt May got like attacked, or I can't remember exactly what happened there, but he basically like wants to undo the fact that he like announced who he was. So he signed a deal with Mephisto.
That could lead into Spider-Man 3, right? Because at the end of Spider-Man 2,
that totally could.
Yeah, like that was revealed that what's his face?
Yeah, Parker is Spider-Man.
Jonah Jameson revealed that he's Peter Parker. So like, in exchange, he could totally do that again. Is like make a deal that like, I want to have a secret identity again. Blah 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 blah. So they could be setting up Mephisto to be a big part of this universe. Then.
He was also teased in Loki as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, in the trailer, there's a stained glass with like an emblem on it or something, and it's like his emblem, or I don't know if it was his emblem or if
Well,
it's like
people are saying too that at the end of the episode, and I didn't notice it, but apparently you can in certain images where Quicksilver's standing at the door and his hands against the glass of the door or whatever, and it looks like his hand's red.
Oh, weird! I didn't notice that.
And people are saying that's because he's Mephisto and his hand's glowing red. But then other people are saying it could be the reflection of Vision's hand. So I don't really know. But I mean, we could go in 18 different directions, and all of them are cool.
It's true. I liked the dynamic between Vision and Wanda. And I liked how Vision is figuring it out, and I like how she's trying to shut it down. And he's like I like when they were fighting. Yeah. And then like she's like I'm ending this, and then like the credits start rolling, and they're just like walking around it. I was just like, man, that's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, that, and when he was in the office with his coworker Norm there, and he takes Norm out of Vision or out of Wanda's control, and he's like, "Please get me out of here, save me!" Like she's in my head, and then he puts him back in, and like he questions Wanda about that, and she's just like, "Oh, you're crazy!" Like she just gaslights him the entire time. And I'm just like, this is gonna explode to a point where, like, I mean, Vision said that he has no memories before she brought him back, basically. Yeah. So, like, this version of Vision doesn't necessarily love Wanda. He doesn't know Wanda.
He just knows that Wanda's his wife. That's what he knows.
Right.
Like, he just knows.
He's manipulated into this marriage with Wanda, but, like, that passion and love of that person isn't there because he's not that person. So, this could get to a point where, like, Vision and Wanda are facing off or, like, you know, head to head. Like, I'm in. I'm ready for this. Like when they both floated, I was like, oh yeah,
let's
go. Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah, I like. I mean, I really hope that we don't get like a cop out for her to be a bad guy, because like it seems like they're really setting that up.
Right.
Like even with when she came out of Westview and she kind of said to them like, this is I already have what I want. No one's taking it away from me or whatever like that, right? And I was just like, oh my god, I fucking love that. And she would be such. I also like how much they kind of talked about how powerful she is. Because remember, again, when the three of them are talking about the end game battle or whatever, they start talking about how like she could have taken Thanos out, but like whatever, she was ambushed or something.
Yeah, they basically said like she could have beat Thanos herself. That's how powerful she is, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Like she's super. You could tell, just like you said, when she left the Hex and just was facing off against all the armed military guys or whatever. It was like, oh yeah, like this could be real bad. She could kill everybody here. Like done. You know,
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I really hope that this doesn't end with her being like, oh, it was all in my head or something, or like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I hope that like, I would love to see her like slowly lose it to the dark side over the next couple of movies. That would be sweet.
Well, I think over the next couple episodes.
Oh, I would love that so much. Nothing more.
I think this is like her slow descent. By episode 9, she's like the villain of the episode of the series. Like
that'd be amazing. That'd be great.
I'm in, man. Like I don't know. I mean, could they bring in like I don't know, Hawkeye or something like that to like talk her down, or like their friends?
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
Maybe.
Like they could do a lot of things where like her and Hawkeye kind of had this budding, seemingly romance before him and Black Widow kind of, I don't know, went off on their own adventure or whatever. But like, I don't know. It seemed like in Age of Ultron, like him getting her to the Avengers side was like they were buddies now, and like so you know, I don't know.
Well, like it's the same with even at the end when isn't he with Clint? She with Clint at the end of Endgame when they're talking about missing people. He like remember like Clint's like, I wish she could know that we won or something like that about Nat, and then she's like, she knows. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I mean, this
they've always had the relationship. The relationship's present since she's been introduced, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was never necessarily romantic because
No, but it was more like there was
Yeah.
like that respect, right? Same with when Civil War, when he went to break Wanda out of the compound.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah, you're right. So I think that could be a possibility too, as we see Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, that'd be great. Everyone hates Hawkeye, but I actually don't mind Hawkeye. But I don't like him because you think he's cool. I like that he's a guy with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is like, what is he going to do against Wanda? Like,
but that's the thing is, he would be the perfect person because physically nothing. There's nothing he could ever do. But maybe he could do something because he might be able to give her the voice of reason, right? Like,
sure. I mean, it's so good. I can't wait for next week. I hate that this is a week in between episodes.
It's good because by the time I hit next week, I'll have had so many new ideas in my head as to what it is.
Sure.
Right? Like,
sure. So I saw this too. That I think is pretty funny. Is that apparently Disney Plus crashed in like a bunch of territories because of how good this episode was.
Oh, damn.
That, like, I guess it got trending on Twitter, and a bunch of people from, I don't know if it was necessarily like Canada or United States or whatever, but I guess it crashed and like people could not get Disney Plus to work at all because there was too many people trying to log in to watch the episode.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Well, I think it's kind of cool in a way because it shows you how good this show's become and how like hungry we are for Marvel content.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw that, and
did it happen like right when the episode dropped?
No, I think it was later this afternoon after like it had been trending on Twitter and stuff like that.
Got ya.
They finally gave the Blade reboot a name, and it's terrible.
Oh, what is it?
Blade the Vampire Slayer.
Tried and true.
Yeah, Buffy. I mean, why? You could name it anything. Why Blade
They're
the
going to go with what works. They know it works.
It's terrible. And unless Sarah Michelle Gellar shows up in this movie...
Maybe she's Blade.
No, it's Michelle Ali.
They whitewashed and made him a female.
Perfect. That's what we need in today's climate.
Yeah, I bet. That'd go over really well.
Oh, man. Yeah, no. I just think that's one of the worst names of any Marvel movie so far, but they hired the writer from Watchmen, I guess, the show.
Oh, from the TV show Watchmen?
Apparently.
Oh.
Which is awesome, because did you watch Watchmen?
I started it. I didn't finish it all the way through, but it's not due to not liking it. It was very compelling.
Really, really good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Also, William Dafoe was seen on the Spider-Man 3 set as Green Goblin. So
in character, like in the costume?
Apparently.
In the same costume?
Yeah.
Interesting. I heard that I thought Feige said a while back that all of them, or maybe he didn't say all of them, maybe he said some of them, we're going to have more classic inspired costumes, which made me excited to get Max Dillon Electro in a big starfish face mask. I just want to see what's his name? Can't remember his name right now.
Either can I.
That guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. They're nailing the costumes pretty much so far. So like, I trust whatever they want to do, costume wise. Sure. I mean, I don't know.
I don't love the old costumes that they had. Like, I especially didn't love Green Goblin's look in any of the movies. They're all bad, but
I mean, it was 2001, the first Spider-Man movie. So,
I know, but just especially compared to Spider-Man, because I thought out of all the costumes, I thought Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had the best costume, one of the best costumes. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind Dr. Octopus's look. I mean, just robotic arms, really. I guess.
Yeah.
He looked.
Well, it was aesthetic too, but
yeah, but I mean, Electro was terrible and Amazing.
Yeah, so bad. Yeah, so bad. So was Rhino. Remember Rhino? The big mechanical Rhino? Terrible.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not so good. Sandman, not so much.
Sandman, not good. But I guess I should. You know what though? I guess if you're really looking for comic accuracy, Sandman literally is identical. Like,
yeah, but I mean, they did nothing with the character. It was more just like
I know
he was in the movie for like 7 minutes total. Like,
yeah,
he
I
didn't.
know.
I don't know. It was bad.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan. That last movie was pretty horrible. But
Spider-Man
2 and 1 were pretty good. Like Toby ones, they were fine. Like,
I haven't rewatched them in a long time. I doubt they hold up as well as they did in like 2001 or 2005 or whatever. But like,
they don't really. Like, some parts do, but they don't.
Yeah,
really. Like the fight scenes and stuff are all great.
Sure. I mean, I haven't rewatched them, but like in its time, I love those movies. Like when the first Spider-Man movie came out, I was like, oh, finally! Like they're doing a good comic book adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's been 20 years. We've gotten a lot of stuff since then, and obviously they're gonna look dated and be a little stilted and a little bit fun. But
yeah.
You know, we also
I don't hate the other Spider-Man stuff nearly as much as I hate the Fox X-Men stuff. So.
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, I think Amazing Spider-Man was fine.
Yeah, I did too. It was okay.
I like Andrew Garfield as an actor, but I thought the second one was absolutely abysmal. But
yeah, terrible.
I liked the first one.
You know, my biggest issue with Amazing Spider-Man was I just couldn't buy Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. It was just it did not work. Like everything that he brought to that role is exactly what Peter Parker is not. Like, totally. He's not a cool dude. He's not a confident dude. He is like the biggest fucking loser ass nerd. Like,
yeah,
none of that is Andrew Garfield.
He's a nerdy, awkward kid, and like, yeah.
Like Tom Holland's a great representation of that. But I did think Toby at the time was, for the most part, but he looked old for the part. Like he looked
old, and he didn't have like the quips as Spider-Man.
Yes,
like
I agree.
He wasn't a funny jokester Spider-Man. He kind of was just like, oh, I'm Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. It didn't always seem like they were having fun as Spider-Man. Like, do you know how many times I've like looked at tall buildings when I'm in like Toronto or something and be like, man, it'd be badass if I was Spider-Man right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's had that like. Yeah, like everybody's had that like little like daydream of like, oh, it'd be badass to do this or that or whatever. And like it just never seemed like they had fun as that character, except for Tom Holland, who looks like he's having a blast the entire time.
Yeah, Tom Holland's great, is a great Spider-Man. I really like, to me, he's the best representation of what Spider-Man is to me. Yeah. Like, I know there's been different variations, so I guess whatever, but like I just feel like I can confidently say that Andrew Garfield is just so miscast as any version of Peter Parker, even the confident one. Like, I don't see there, it just doesn't work. Whereas the other two I get, but I do think Tom Holland is by far the best. Like, not by a little, like by a lot. Like,
well, even Topher Grace as Eddie Brock, it was terrible.
See, to me, Topher Grace would have made a better Peter Parker than Tobey Maguire.
100%.
Yeah, like that's the kind of funny that you want for that kind of nerdy character, right? He can play somebody who's super nerdy, but still like has a sense of humor about it, right? Like,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
We also saw this that James Gunn has like I guess some kind of writing credit on Thor: Love and Thunder because Guardians of the Galaxy is in Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's right. Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, so I guess he doesn't have like a huge writing part. Like I guess Taika Waititi definitely like wrote or is doing majority of the movie, as you would expect. He's a director.
Yeah, he's probably just putting his involvement in with Guardian scenes, I'm guessing. Right. He did that with Endgame too, I think. Yeah,
like I think he just wants to make sure that they are on par with what will set up for Guardians 3.
Yeah, yeah.
But so I would assume that means that Thor is going to be coming off of his time with the Guardians in space at the beginning of this movie.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That would make sense. That's where he left off, so.
Right, like as Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever he was going to call it, I think we'll end or start the movie and then he'll come back to Earth and, you know, set up the whole story of Natalie Portman being back and so on and so forth. So
I'm excited for that one. That should be a fun one.
I think, I don't know if, I mean, this sounds like I read this, but it could be wrong, that like Natalie Portman's pretty stingy when it comes to reading scripts and stuff like that.
No.
So the fact that they got her back, I would assume means the script is pretty good for Thor 4. But I mean, she also did the Star Wars movies, so
yeah. But that was where she kind of learned, though, wasn't it? Because like she was actually doing really well in her career until the Star Wars movies. That's when she fell down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I assume that's what nailed the last nail in the coffin right there was, yeah, okay, I'm going to actually read the scripts before I agree to a movie, because yikes, but yeah. Anyway, that's all the news I got. I was just not much this week other than everybody hyping up WandaVision. But
did you see the set pictures from Thor 4? Thor 4?
I saw the first day set pictures.
Where?
Thor 4?
Thor, but the T is a 4.
That's like early 2000s what they would have done with Thor. It would have been Thor with a 4.
Thor with a 4.
And the R would have been hammer.
Yeah, you're right. That is right. But did you see the set picture of Star-Lord and Thor?
No, I didn't know.
There's a picture, so like looks like Star-Lord's got kind of like an updated like jacket.
Oh, really?
Like it's new costume, and Thor looks like he's kind of wearing like almost looks like he's wearing like classic costume, like blue pants with like yellow boots.
Oh, nice.
Like, yeah, it's kind of cool.
I guess Nebula's in it too.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Drax too, apparently. And Mantis
really?
too.
Oh.
Yeah. Originally I thought it was just Pratt, but apparently they're all there.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean that movie's not till next year, but like I am so excited for that movie.
Me too. But there's gonna be so much stuff honestly, the week to week stuff is gonna be like draining eventually, because like if we keep getting TV like we just got, like,
yeah,
imagine having to wait all year for everything just over and over again.
Yeah, no, I mean it can't keep this level of hype and like excitement week to week. It's just going to kill me. I'll have a heart attack.
They're going to. That's the thing, is now they have an avenue to do that, and it's like it's the perfect reason to pull you back in. So it's like no one's escaping.
Yeah, man, I'm hooked. Like I can't wait for the next episode.
What do you think is up with the bulletproof pants and?
Well, I think it was just her uniform that she transformed into, like, fitting clothes for that era. But if she can do that, then she can pretty much do anything. So I don't know. I don't know what it could lead to, really. But I like the idea that, like, she could go back in that uniform necessarily if she had to.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I mean, they made the like storyline make sense when they like brought in the other stuff from the real world into her universe. It all changed, so it makes sense that her Kevlar uniform would change into like 70s or
with everything else.
Or whatever. But
also, did we talk about her stealing Vision's body? I don't think we did.
I mean, that's pretty key too that we should probably talk about. But
probably should.
Apparently, that was cut from the end of Endgame.
That was I heard that it was cut from the end of Endgame. Yeah.
Like it was going to be an end credit stinger.
Spoiler, yeah. That's pretty crazy, eh?
Yeah, I love it. I wish we would have got more of seeing her like break in and messing dudes up, like
That'd have been sweet.
It would be cool, but I think
it's really cool.
I like that they showed it, like that. How she got Vision. Like they're answering everything. It's not like it's not like Lost. Like I know you weren't I don't think you even watched Lost.
I never even watched it. No.
Okay. So the problem with Lost is like one of my favorite shows of all time, and it progressively gets worse because you realize about season 3 or 4 that they're not going to answer anything. So like all your like hypothesis and everything about the show doesn't really matter because they're not going to answer anything.
Right.
And the fun of Lost is like, oh, this could be happening, this could be happening, this could be happening. And that's the fun of this right now is like we are coming up with all these different outcomes and ideas of what could actually be happening. The difference is if we're actually getting answers in an episode or 2 episodes later, they're answering.
Whereas Lost wasn't getting anything.
Lost, you never got anything really. I mean, we got a few answers to this and that, but like it was left up to interpretation for the most part.
Right.
So, like, I like the fact that they're going, no, we're not going to leave this hanging for.
Yeah, no, we're
months.
telling the story, not you.
Right. Like, we're going to tell you a story and you're going to like it or not like it, but the story is told and you can move on and you can talk about it. But they're still leaving up enough room where you can hypothesize about what is actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how they're doing it. Like, this is the perfect way to do it. It's not the J.J. Abrams, like, mystery in a box thing that he always talks about. I don't know if you ever seen that, but
No, I haven't, no.
there was like a TED Talk or something like that J.J. Abrams had about his vision on storytelling and directing. And basically he said every movie should be like a mystery in a box where you show the box, but you never, you show the box and the mystery, but you never really explain what's inside the box. And so, like, you could make 1,000 guesses at what's inside the box, but he's never going to show you. He's just going to leave it up to interpretation, and you figure it out, basically.
Right.
And this is the reverse of that, where it's like, we're going to show you what's in the box, and we're going to let you guess what's in the box, and then we're going to show you, and we're going to tell you, and then we're going to show you the box, inside the box, upside down, inside the box. Like, we're going to give you every outcome of how the box was manufactured and wrapped.
We're going to cover every square inch of that box.
Exactly. And that's just perfect. Like, that's what I want.
Well, I like that we're getting answers, because if I had to deal with episodes 1 to 3 nonstop without any explanation, I'd be long gone. I mean, I wouldn't, but
now in hindsight, it works perfectly. Those first 2 episodes
totally does. Yeah,
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, first 3 episodes.
Yeah, well, shocking that after 12 years they know what they're doing.
Never doubt them. You just never doubt them.
We're down to like.
I've seen I still have seen people who don't like this. Like I have a couple like customizers that I follow that have been like shitting on it, and like. But I've also have some customizers I've seen that have shit on it and now are turned around and like, okay, it's pretty good.
Yeah. But you know what? You can say that about anything.
I know.
Literally anything. There's going to be a restaurant that I love and you hate. There's going to be a music album that you love and I hate. Like,
very up.
Everything's up to interpretation, and everything is
subjective. It's all subjective.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. Is like today, we got a new Foo Fighters album and a new Hayley Williams album out of nowhere.
You did? Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. And I'm like stoked because I was like, oh, this is great. Neither blew me away, but both are good. But like, yeah, I mean, it's up to interpretation, right? Like you could listen to both those albums and be like, oh, these are my 2 new favorite albums.
These are the best. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I like that. That's what makes things interesting.
Totally. Yeah. If everything was one flavor, then it would be pretty like.
Right. So, I mean, WandaVision's different for sure, and it's weird, and it's not like anything else in the MCU. It's starting to feel more MCU as it goes on.
Yes.
But
yeah, I would agree with that.
But yeah, if somebody doesn't like it, it doesn't surprise me. There's people that don't like pizza, and pizza's the best food ever invented. So
what the fuck? Who are those people?
Not my friends. You don't like pizza? You're not welcome here. I'm sorry.
I love pizza. It's the best. That's the thing I miss the most about being in Windsor is the pizza.
Come back, baby.
So good. I'm not for that.
You can move in with me.
Oh, that'd be great. You probably have room now.
I got an extra bedroom, so hey, you know.
There you go.
You want to partake over here? You come over. We'll have a good time.
We'll do live sessions.
live sessions.
Damn right.
You'll stream me streaming you.
We just sit there taking each other's.
Yeah.
This is how we live stream.
We're gonna revolutionize the medium.
I like it.
We're down to 5 minutes, buddy. So we got to. Any final thoughts or anything? We got to get out of the way because we always seem to end right as.
Yes.
Right as it kicks us off. So.
What do we have to finish up with? I think we got through most of the good stuff from the show, but I don't know. I honestly don't know what to expect for next week. Even like, I wonder how they're going to factor in Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I don't think they are.
He was cast for it.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure him and Evan Peters were cast at the same time.
I didn't know that. I assumed that the whoever, Kevin Feige, whoever, was like, our version of Quicksilver sucks. The Fox version got it right, so we're going to take their version and forget about our version.
That would be great if they did that.
I mean, that's the way I would do it, but...
You didn't see this coming?
Yeah. My buddy sent me that meme.
You know what, though? It's cool when she went out back into the real world and she had her accent. Oh, man.
I didn't understand that. I'm like, you haven't had this accent in...
Oh, I do.
What?
Because she's controlling the reality on the other place, right?
I know, but the accent's so bad.
I know, but in this situation, I thought it worked because she was being very evil. So I was like...
Yeah, but she started with the accent, and then by the time she was ready to go back in, the accent had gone again.
Yeah, it was kind of on and off. I did notice that.
It wasn't good. That was, I mean, same with the child actors for the kids. They were terrible.
Fucking kids.
I mean, I know they're kids, and like, I don't know, whatever. The kids are gonna do kids things, but like, I just was like, oh, these kids suck as actors. And no, don't keep them. And then they aged up right away, and I was like, okay, good. You get different actors.
I have to say that for another week in a row, like I watch it and I'm like, man, Paul Bettany and fucking Elizabeth Olsen are fucking so good in these roles. Like
Paul Bettany plays it so well, man.
Oh, he's great. I just love that he's figuring this all out now. Like I like how she's like, when he comes into the kitchen and he's in his human form or whatever, and she's like, oh, why are you dressed like that or whatever? And he's like, oh, I just feel like we're going to get a visitor. Yeah. And then like then Agnes walks in.
Yeah.
Like, oh, with
he's figuring it out. He's
like
a detective.
Like, I think those little things are like, they're like almost eerie. Like when it goes from being like really in the scene to like being really like not what you would expect to see in the scene. Like even the part where Agnes says like, oh, do you want me to take it from the top or whatever? Like to me, that's like eerie to me because it feels so out of, like it feels like it doesn't belong there, you know? Oh man, I love how they do that, and I love that has that effect on me because I see it and I'm just like, oh my god, that's so cool.
It doesn't really fit into one genre, right? Like it's a cheesy sitcom at times, and then it's got this eerie underside to it, and then it's got like a bit of mystery in it. It's an action film at parts. Like it's got so many different things going on, and it all works together perfectly.
Yeah. Oh man, they're just crushing it.
Before we end, I'm just going to say I am going to record a second episode again this week. I got 3 friends coming on. It's not going to be live. We're going to record tomorrow night. We're going to do our top 10 video games ever. Yeah. So if you're into games and stuff like that, you can look on YouTube. That episode will be posted probably Tuesday or Wednesday. But I'll post on here when it's live. But it should be a fun episode. Probably going to be long. It's probably going to be a couple hours long because 4 guys doing top 10 games, it's going to take a while.
You guys are going to talk about video games forever. So to kick off the rest of this, I'll give you my top 10 video games. Here it is. Blades of Steel, Roger Clemens Baseball,
Grand Theft Auto 3?
Yeah, I think it was 3. 3 was the first like good one with good graphics, right?
Well, 3D graphics, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 3. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 3, yeah. Love hitting people with my car. Oh, that's a good one. Pick a Destiny.
No, that was Tenacious D.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Stick sure.
I just like Blades of Steel.
Yeah, I know you like Blades of Steel.
With the pass.
Oh man, I miss playing video games with you because you're the least competitive person alive.
Damn right. Remember when I played that like game where I had the headset on in your place and I was like freaking out? That was so cool. We're gonna run out of time. Better say bye.
Yeah, we'll say bye now before this kicks us off. And thanks for watching, everybody. And follow Matt. And everybody that's not, following Matt, go follow Matt because he's got some cool shit on.
Follow me. I'm working away.
Yeah, man. Customs at Matthew. Bye, buddy.
Good night, my friend.
See ya.
See ya.